Okay, good morning. Welcome back to Liquid Gold, your prime news source for the cutting edge of the crypto economy. I'm your host, Rob Lassetti. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. So, Bitcoin hits 20k, Ethereum rises 12% as the crypto market cap tops 1 trillion. We had a bit of an uptick overnight, which is great to see because we've been in a kind of stable, steady range of about 19.5k to 21, 22k for quite some time now. We broke back above the 20k mark, which is really cool. I've heard recently that 20k is starting to become this kind of bottom point for Bitcoin. We seem to have bottomed out. Like the selling is trying to push for lower, but it can't really go that much lower. So it might start to be forming as a narrative that Bitcoin is a safe haven asset for 20k. Especially as we see the other markets, like the traditional markets, dive down, whilst the global macroeconomy is kind of going lower and lower. It'll be interesting to see as the weeks and months go on if Bitcoin starts to become more stable or starts to bounce back. And that seems to be, like, we're getting some hints of that now. So if we look over in the charts, what we can see, what's interesting is that Bitcoin rose above 20k to about 3%, whereas Ethereum rose it was 12% of the article. It's about 8.5% right now. And then Optimism, the layer 2 solution for Ethereum, rose about 15%. So there's a clear pattern there of Bitcoin rises, Ethereum rises even more, and the layer 2 solutions and DeFi start to rise even more after that. And then the reverse is true also. When Bitcoin falls, the others fall harder and harder. So I wouldn't take this too seriously until we see clear breakouts above like 22, 23k. Right now we're still in our typical range of about 19.5 or 19 US dollars up to, something like 20, 21, right? And yeah, until we start to see significant breakouts, just expect a pullback. Like typically we've been getting breakout and pullback for quite some time now. So this is not too much to get excited over. But nonetheless, it's great to see. I mean, it's been choppy for quite a while now. It'd be great to see more of a breakout, but 20k is the hard selling point for Bitcoin right now. Next up, Cash App users can now send and receive Bitcoin via Lightning. This is really cool to see. So for those who don't know, Lightning Network is the layer 2 solution on top of Bitcoin that is allowing immediate Bitcoin transactions. Typical Bitcoin transactions on the layer 1 of the network take about 10 minutes to confirm, and you want to wait for multiple confirmations for a transaction to actually go through. Lightning is going to allow the kind of coffee transactions of immediate Bitcoin transactions, and now it's been enabled in the apps that are being used for payments. So Cash App is a very popular app in the US and the UK. I don't think it's available in Australia just yet, but it's got something like 66 million users, and it's got monthly active users. So it's very popular, and having Lightning functionality been enabled recently in the past, now it actually has full Lightning functionality, so people can use Lightning transactions on there. So it's great to see that this will be the case. I don't know if this will be used for coffee transactions because Bitcoin still is not a stable asset. Like for a currency, you want something that's completely stable. So I've kind of been in two minds about this, but we'll see what happens. The trend is definitely going in the way of Bitcoin being used for immediate transactions through these apps and being made widely available all over the world. We can see that unfolding slowly, and this is one of those steps. Nonetheless, it's great to see this kind of functionality being enabled. The Western Union may be planning to expand its digital offerings far beyond remittances. This is pretty fascinating. If you have been around crypto for a while, back in 2013, 2014, the biggest narrative around the adoption of cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin, was remittance transactions. And the reason for that was it's an obvious first point of erosion in terms of this allows for global, almost free and immediate transactions, whereas Western Union, who do, currency transactions from country to country with remittances, usually charge quite large fees in order to do that. So this was just an obvious first point of call. Having said that, for the last few years, Western Union has been kind of avoiding the crypto markets. So in 2015, they showed interest, but there was uncertainty for cryptocurrencies for Western Union. They partnered with Ripple to settle payments and remittances in 2015, but the partnership remained in a test phase. They didn't actually go too far with it. More recently, we've seen companies like MasterCard and PayPal start to really go into crypto and make it known that they're going to be using their payment rails and testing further with them. So now the space is actually getting quite crowded with their competitors. So now it seems that Western Union is positioning itself to offer remittances services and more on the crypto markets, which is an actual first step into using cryptocurrencies for Western Union. That's huge. Also, they're even considering using their own token and insurance and doing insurance. So they're actually clearly seeing that this is the way to go, and now finally taking their first real step on board, which I think it was a bit of a no-brainer for a while, but obviously they had to wait for the market to become kind of authoritative and secure enough that people are going to be like, yeah, we're going to use this and this is perfectly acceptable. We started with crypto being in the phase of like just the visionaries and the kind of geeky people seeing the technology. It's slowly making its way into mainstream culture, and these are signs that we're getting into mainstream culture, where these companies are like, yeah, we'll accept this, we'll use this. Even though before they would have saved a lot of money if they went straight for it. It was like, well, we can't go this way because it doesn't have the kind of brand image that is acceptable yet. Now it's getting clear that PayPal, MasterCard jumping on board, the brand image of crypto is becoming obvious that it's going to be a mainstream tool. So that's really, really cool to see. So that's all for today's news. Again, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and sign up for more daily news content